Welcome to the American Freethinker. I believe that this is my fourth video, and one thing I've noticed is that I am really good when I'm in my car practicing. I am Johnny on the spot with points and bringing up the message that I want and all the examples and no hesitations, no retakes. Then I turn on the video and everything kind of slowly goes away. Maybe ramble a little bit, repeat. So I'm going to try to get better at that, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure that's kind of normal. But I am really good in my car. To the point where between that and my, Hollywood good looks and voice, I would probably have my own Fox News show, but it's not to be yet. Also, I want to point out that my last video was a little long. I'm going to try to keep it below 15 minutes, and that's my goal. The point of these videos is, one, to get things off my chest, and they're things that I think about on a regular basis. So it really should be kind of easy. The second reason is kind of get practice, and then to advertise so that when I start up my live call-in podcast, that I'll have enough practice, my instrumentation will be better, and maybe have some people that, from listening to the videos, maybe some Democrats that want to get at me, or some just normal conservative thinking people want to kind of talk about and get things off their chest as well. So again, I'll keep them shorter, and bit by bit I'll try to be more relaxed and get better at it. Today's topic, I believe, is the reason why America became the greatest country in the world so quickly. And that is personal responsibility. It's gotten away from us. Back in the day, we called it rugged individualism. Democrats laugh at that because then they come at you like, well, what do you want to do? Go cut some wood down and make your own house? You mean rugged? I mean personal responsibility. Why does the Democrat Party, why does the leadership, why does the hard left, why do they not want you to have personal responsibility? Well, first of all, if you don't need them, you will never vote for them. The Democrat Party is centered around the idea that in order for them to keep their voter base, they have to develop a group of people that think they need them. So in order to make them think they need them, they have to make sure that they don't have the concept of personal responsibility. For example, it's not their fault. It's not your fault because you're a minority. Because society will keep you down. Even in 2018, society will keep you down. So the evil Republicans, they're racist, bigoted, sex, blah, blah, blah. They're keeping you down. The Democrat Party needs that. And the best way they do to keep that going is by instituting leaderships, by putting leaders over these different little groups, a dozen, 100, whatever groups. For example, like the NOW organization, NAACP, the AARP, your Jesse Jacksons, your Al Sharptons, and they go to these leaders and say, okay, you make sure we keep that voting base by making sure that they need us, and we'll make your life really, really good. And they do. They fly around in their private jets, their limousines, they make good money, and these are people that would probably do nothing. They have no skills. They would be nothing without this. Again, I've said this before, look up Tammany Hall. That would give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So they got to convince a lot of people that, nah, personal responsibility. When a Republican or conservative starts talking personal responsibility, just call them a racist. just, just tell them they're mean and nasty and cruel. Well, what do they mean by mean and nasty and cruel? What are they trying to say? Well, for instance, kids nowadays. You talk to a child, you talk to a kid, a young girl, a young boy, and you tell them, you tell me which is cruel. Tell them that go ahead and have sex with anyone you want, and if you get pregnant, so what? You can just kill it. No big deal. You want to kill it? Just kill it. See, that is not personal responsibility. And then you have someone like me that says, no, you tell them not to have sex. And if they do, have a condom. And if they get pregnant, you're going to take care of it. And you make sure they understand what that means. That means that between the two of them, they're going to be working 2 or 3 jobs to take care of this child. That's personal responsibility. But if they do that, then the Democrat Party loses voters. Because if they either just kill it, or if they have it, then they tell them, oh, well, then we'll just take care of you. As long as the woman doesn't have a man, doesn't have a husband, we will pay you some welfare, we'll give you some rent, we'll feed you, everything. And the more children you have, the more we're going to give you. Well, what does that do? That not only gives them a permanent voter, but it also gives them probably a couple more generations of voters, because they probably tend to, the next generation will do that as well. But if you install personal responsibility and the child doesn't get pregnant until after they're married, and they don't have a child until they can afford it, well, then they don't need the Democrat Party. Somehow they say that's cruel of me. Well, I think it's more cruel to tell a person that it's everybody else's fault. Another example. You're doing good, you have a good job, and then you lose your job. Well, if you don't have a lot of debt and you've actually had personal responsibility and you put money in the bank, then everything will be okay, because you don't have a lot of bills and you can probably live off those savings for a little while you're out looking for another job. But that's not what the Democrats tell you. Democrats say, don't worry about it. Go on unemployment. What? Well, all your stuff, don't worry. File bankruptcy and keep your house and your cars. Don't worry about it. Again, that's not personal responsibility. Not only that, but it doesn't make a person feel very good about themselves. How about a person that says, oh, well, I don't want to work. My back hurts. I want to go on disability. I don't want to work. Well, what's more cruel? Telling that person that's okay, it's not your fault, or they can't find a job. Well, it's not your fault. It's the evil capitalist system, or it's the evil corporations not wanting to pay you enough to make a living. After all, you work at McDonald's, you shouldn't be making $8. You should be making $15 an hour. It's not your fault. Here, how about this? You just go sit on the couch, get fat and ugly, maybe even do some drugs. Well, guess what? Once they get them hooked on that, they have another voter. That's cruel. What isn't cruel is telling that person, no, if you don't have a job, you don't make money, you don't eat. Which is going to make a person feel better about themselves? Sitting on the couch and not doing something, or working every day, moving up the ladder, maybe getting a better job, maybe management, maybe actually making enough money where someone wants to marry you and have children with you. What makes you feel better? Obviously, personal responsibility makes you feel better. So as that normal hardworking, you still love America. Now again, I'm talking to this 80% of Democrats that actually still, they work hard, they love America, they just don't necessarily pay attention to points or subject matter. Is that you? Are you the one that actually believes that personal responsibility doesn't matter? Well, if you believe that it matters, then you need to start listening to those leaders. And everything that they talk about will say, well, you're a minority. It's not your fault. It's society. You need us to help you. That's the Democrat Party. They're basically saying that you're too stupid or too lazy to go get a job, to do it on your own. Oh, yeah, it might sound harsh, but that's what they're saying. Again, this is the Democrat Party, the party of slavery, the party of the KKK, the party of Jim Crow laws, the party of the welfare system, the party that went from the cotton plantation to the urban plantation. This is not a party that believes in you. This is not a party that says you can do it on your own. This is a party that depends on you saying, I need your help. And that's why this topic is so important. Something as simple as personal responsibility. You fail, too bad. Everyone does. Get right back up, dust yourself off, start all over again. If you fail again, it's not someone else's fault, it's your fault. You lose a job, okay. It's your fault if you don't go get another one. If you can't find one that pays enough, go get 2 jobs until you do. Those are the people that feel good about themselves. The ones that don't are the ones that depend on the government. So again, like I said, I plan on keeping this one short. I'm sure there's a lot more that I would have talked about or could have talked about if I could remember what I want to talk about once that video's on. But like I said, I'll get better. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, share it. If it's Facebook, like it, share it. Again, I'm working out kinks on the Facebook one, and I'll keep getting better equipment, and eventually I'll have that live call-in show. So thanks again for listening, and hopefully you'll listen to the next one.